Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us for our, really this isn't a live Q&A. This is more, and it's not even a hot seat, but this is a discussion around how businesses are responding to the crisis, the pandemic, the market shifts. And my name is Peter Lang, CEO of Uhuru Network, a digital marketing agency. I also have some other business ventures. And this is my good friend, advisor, attorney, I mean, just overall nice guy and expert who's available and mentors me, formerly Andrew Contaguglia, but we all call him Andy. Thank you for joining us, Andy.
Thanks, man. Peter, appreciate you having me here. I'm excited. Just to give a little bit of background about myself, as you had mentioned, I am a lawyer. I'm based in Denver, Colorado. Been practicing in areas of business law for about 25 years now. Not only do I do law, but I also am a business risk management consultant. And part of my practice is I counsel and I advise small and medium-sized businesses and influencers to help them gain legal advantages and protection by providing them success, knowledge, and just sort of protecting them so they don't make mistakes later on in their businesses.
Basically, extremely helpful in this type of economic uncertainty and business crisis.
Right. What I like to tell people is I protect you on the front end so you don't take it in the back end.
And to be very clear, Andy's protect my back end for a long time.
Oh, you're being generous.
And so why are we here? Of course, everyone's working in various locations, but a lot of people have found themselves working from home. So Andy and myself are coming to you live from our respective homes. And really, we wanted to go through with you and open this up to the public and share what we've been faced with as businesses, as advisors, as consultants, to survive and thrive through this economic crisis. And not just economic, but overall societal crisis, right, Andy?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such an interesting time. I think the last time I sort of saw this type of environment in business was back at 9/11 when everything got shut down. That was 20 years ago. I don't know what you were like in your teens at that time, but for those of us who were,
you're too kind. You're too kind.
But for those of us who were working and engaging in businesses and helping run businesses and helping counsel people through business and crisis, this is a lot like that. And everything is shut down. You're not taking plane flights. You've got this concern, but now we have this invisible threat that we all have to deal with, and we're all trying to make changes. And on top of that, we have this, aside from the fear and anxiety about, catching this disease, first and foremost, we have, governor's orders, mayor's orders. We've got Department of Health orders just coming down on top of us from every angle, telling us, hey, we got to stay home. We can't go to our businesses. We have to now find new ways to operate, our brick and mortar stores from our living rooms or from our home offices. Finding new ways to give yoga classes online when people would normally go to your studio. So it's such an incredibly amazing change for all of this.
And I've had a lot of discussions with various private equity firms that represent or support a lot of the companies that are in, not just what Uhuru worked with, but some friends of mine on the executive side. And the consensus is there's either two things going on, that this is like a flu. It's going to be short. It's going to be a sharp recession. We're going to bounce into it and out quickly, right? Or is this something like, and that goes back to your 9/11 comment, or is this like 2008 2.0? Is this going to be a longer recession? And I can tell you from the conversation I've had, it's not that clear, of course, it is uncertain, but there's a 60% feeling that it's short, and a 40% that it might be long. What have you been hearing?
I'm getting mixed information as well. I'm fortunate. I have a sister who lives over in Spain. And, she's been able to really pay close attention to how, the whole crisis has been developing in Europe and how it's, how they're trying to adjust it. I mean, she's in Barcelona, but nothing there is really slowing down. They're 3 or 4 weeks ahead of us in this race, and they don't see any signs of this reducing over there yet. So when we look at it from our perspective, if we're using Europe sort of as this gauge in terms of where things fell, so to speak, and here we are, the next domino to fall after all of this, we can see that we know it's not going to be at least a month until we get better. Everything that's happening around in my world when it comes to courts, when it comes to appearances and things like that, we're expecting things to be into June. That's what we're seeing. That's what the courts are really trying to navigate right now, is how are we going to get people in court? How are we going to manage due process for people? So I know we're at least another 60 days into this before things start to even go down the slope and change.
Yeah, and
But
that's declining, but
yeah,
not even getting back to normal. And that's an important distinction, right?
absolutely. I don't think we get, I think we'll be lucky to get back to normal by the end of this year. I think we're going to have to accept this. Now, in the whole grand scheme of things, if we can get to a normal by the end of this year, in the world of business, it's probably pretty quick. If we're talking 2 or 3 years to get out of an economic crisis, like what happened in 2008, we didn't really get out of that until after 2010 or so.
Yeah, tail end of 2010. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
exactly. Then you may look at that sort of as a long haul. But looking at the next 8 or 9 months, some of us might think that's long. I think there's a lot of perspective, but realistically, I think we're looking at making these adjustments, or we're not going to be able to start making change to these adjustments until I think toward the end of this year.